This is so insane, yet so predictable. The media and the chattering class are falling for the dumbest line ever that this is a brand new Taliban, Taliban 2.0, the inclusive Taliban, even. Look how normal they are. They're just like us. They even ride around in bumper cars. It's a new Taliban, friends. And they love the ladies this time. Videos like this going viral today, showing members of the Taliban riding around in bumper cars. Of course, this is in a city that they seized, but they want to normalize the Taliban. And they keep trotting forward this line that is the party line of the Taliban right now, that now they're going to be inclusive and there's going to be women in the government. And guess what? There's not. And you'd have to be an absolute effing buffoon to believe this. But there just so happens to be a lot of effing buffoons in the media. So they buy it and they love the viral videos. Like, oh, here they are in a gym. Look how cute. The Taliban guys don't know how to use the equipment. Look at that guy's going backwards. What's he doing? Just like you and me. You know, they're a little different than you and me, though, considering you and me going to the gym and we do this or that. I'm kidding. I don't actually go to the gym. And then afterwards, we go and maybe spend some time having a drink or something. After they're done, they stone a couple of gay people and reduce women to the most marginalized version of life possible. So that's what they do after it. So all these things, look how adorable. In this case, guess where they are? Come on. It's a Taliban merry-go-round. This is a purposeful thing. It's done to reframe the Taliban as this is a different group here. It's not. They're even showing videos of these Afghan citizens, and they're bringing roses to the Taliban. Maybe they love them. Here you go. Walk across the street, deliver the Taliban soldier a rose. Here you are. And they'll go, look, they love him. They shook their hand. They gave him a rose. Yes, because they don't want to be executed. They don't want to die. What's really happening? On the way, I'm going to show you that in just a moment. But they're literally broadcasting stuff like this across the world. It is lies on lies on lies. The Taliban will be exactly who the Taliban has always been. They will organize life under Sharia law. Women will be incredibly marginalized. Anybody who is gay won't be allowed to exist. Anybody who is anywhere else in the LGBT spectrum will be even further outside of the scope of what is allowed. It will be brutal, and it will be exactly the way it was the last time. But for now, the world falls for the new tale of Taliban 2.0, now including women.
Women will be afforded all their rights, whether it is in work or other activities, because women are a key part of society. And we are guaranteeing all their rights within the limits of Islam.
Within the limits of Islam, he really means Sharia law, which is a lot of limitations. This guy is falling for it. This just in, the Taliban says they'll build an inclusive government. They like using that word. You know why? It's a Western word. They're talking to us through the media. They're trying to curry favor with you. And they're utilizing the dumbasses in the media to do so. And these people aren't smart enough to understand what's happening. They said they're going to prevent territory in Afghanistan from being used to target any other country. Right, that'll work. They're even on Twitter. And they got that blue check mark, baby. They're official. They are verified on Twitter. The Taliban spokesman is allowed to be there unless they get too violent, then they're getting them out. Think of all the people who have been wiped off of Twitter and banned, and the Taliban spokesperson, all right, we'll let you in. You guys are reformed. This guy gets it. This is somebody who understands what's happening. Pay attention to this. Frud Bezan says, Taliban saying all the right things. Amnesty, women's freedoms, free media. This is what they're saying. They're telling the world what it wants to hear. That's the point. That's the key point. You're smart enough to get this, are they? Outside Kabul, the situation is starkly different. Taliban have reimposed their repressive laws, oppressing women and banning independent media. Context is key here. U.S. troops are still on the ground in Kabul. Foreign journalists are still on the ground. When the world's focus shifts, that's when Afghans will see the real Taliban. the one committing rights abuses and rolling back freedoms in cities and provinces outside Kabul. Do you get it? They're still worried that global outcry over mistreatment of different groups of people like women will lead the U.S. to reinvigorate or surge their involvement in Afghanistan. They're still a little bit scared. But once the media, the cameras, all these folks, they leave, and once the U.S. military leaves completely, it'll be the same old Taliban. Trust me. There is no new and improved. There is no 2.0. There is no inclusive. They don't even understand the word. Outside of the specter of the cameras and the coverage, here's what's really happening. From the Wall Street Journal, on their first day in control of Kabul, Taliban fighters commandeered streets and searched homes and the offices of government officials and media outlets, spreading fear and menace across the Afghan capital. Maybe we shouldn't believe them. Armed militants erected checkpoints throughout the city of 6 million people. They set a curfew for 9 p.m. and took over army and police posts. Firefighters grinning in victory rode through the streets and captured U.S. and Afghan military vehicles. Great job on that one. And we're flying the Taliban's flag. Turban-clad insurgents searched the phones of random people on the street to see what they were up to, see if there was any compromising material. The Taliban on the way in killed an Afghan radio station manager, kidnapped a journalist, shut down all the broadcasts. Everything turns into Taliban TV, Taliban print, Taliban this. Music is banned. Art is banned. It is all banned. Anything that's not the Taliban. And why do I think they're not inclusive? Look to the streets of Kabul right now. There are no women in the streets. If you do see women, they're rushing to the market. And the most popular stall at the market is the one that sells the coverings that they're supposed to wear under Islamic law. That's a sign that these women are scared. They're going to buy burqas en masse, and there's no women on the street other than that. They're very weary of this because they get it, even if the U.S. media doesn't. Here's some more Taliban figures, including a dope with a big giant RPG that he's about to shoot at somebody 6 feet away. Look at this guy, right over here, off to the right. He has an RPG right there. Homeboy, they're like 10 feet away. This is the Taliban away from the cameras harassing people in the streets. And it will go right back to where it was. This is from a women's rights group in Afghanistan. And they talk about some of the restrictions and mistreatment of women that goes on in Afghanistan and will go on again. There's a complete ban on women's work outside the home. You can't be teachers, engineers, professionals. Doesn't happen. A complete ban on women's activity unless they're accompanied by a mahram, which is a close male relative such as a father, brother, or husband. Can't deal with any male shopkeepers. You can't be treated by male doctors. You can't go to school, university, or any other educational institution. You have to wear a burqa from head to toe. Whipping, beating, and verbal abuse of women not clothed in accordance to Taliban rules is common. Whipping of women in public for having non-covered ankles. You don't want to show those sexy ankles, lady, in Afghanistan. Under the Taliban, that is a no-no. Public stoning of women accused of having sex outside marriage. Can't use makeup, can't talk or shake hands with males that are not in your family. Ban on women laughing loudly, because that's important stuff. No high heels. You can't go in a taxi without a relative. Can't be on the radio, can't be on the television, and you can't be involved in a public gathering of any kind. You can't ride a bicycle or a motorcycle or wear brightly colored clothes or wash your clothes next to a river or just basically anything else that requires life. You can't even involve yourself in listening to music, not only for women, but men as well. All of it, every bit of it will come back. We don't have the Taliban 2.0. We do have a media and a social media landscape ready to gobble up all these videos and clips of the Taliban are just like us. Maybe they learned something in the last 20 years. Did the Taliban get woke too? No, is the answer. It's the same old repressive, terrible, bad, everything about them, violent Taliban. Same old, and they will never change. They haven't changed anything since the 18th century or something. They are not going to change anytime soon. And if you don't see that, well, that's unfortunate, but it will be the reality that the folks in Afghanistan see. If you like this video and you think it was informative, hit that share button to pass it along to a friend. I appreciate you doing so. If you're new around here, first of all, thanks for watching the video. And over at facebook.com/the news junkie, hit that follow button. Over on youtube.com/the news junkie, please hit subscribe. I look forward to your comments. As always, it gets down and dirty in the comments, but I'm with that, and I want to see what you have to say about that and what's happening in Afghanistan and who's to blame. Give me those comments below. I appreciate you watching once again. We'll talk to you again real soon.